This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. Well, like every Sunday morning, we have Steve Cates, otherwise known as Dr. Sky. And Steve, what are you going to do to enhance our minds this morning?
Well, John, we're going to take you on the tour, not only from space, but out to the deep universe, as we say good morning to you and everybody listening around the world. John, we begin with another update on the Artemis NASA program to the moon. And last week we talked about that there's a delay. Everybody knows, at least by now, helium leaks and hydrogen leaks on the big SLS rocket have forced it to go back into the big house where they're going to try to correct it. But here's the latest information, and this is important. I don't know if people know this. In 2025, NASA lost some 20% of its staff due to budget cuts. So now they're going to change the lineup. So Artemis 2, which now hopefully launches in April, going around the moon with 4 astronauts. Artemis 3 was supposed to be, John, the landing on the moon. So now Artemis 3, probably in 2027, will test out systems like spacesuits, rendezvous, hopefully with a future lunar lander. And we're talking about maybe no earlier, John, than landing on the moon with humans, at least NASA, till 2028. Lots of changes with the new administrator, Mr. Isaacman, and that's basically an interesting story because they canceled out the Lunar Gateway project, which is supposed to be a space station around the moon. So let's hope they got it really refocused and on target.
Well, I look forward to it. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but what is it, like 60 years later or
well, we're almost approaching that. I mean, the last landing on the moon, John, goes back, and I remember it, probably a lot of people do too, if they're in our age group, back in 1972 with Apollo 17. And people say, well, hey, and here's a question, John, that I know you and I will both be interested in trying to dig deeper. How did we do it so well back then, and how come we simply can't do it now? And their answer is really not as easy as many people would think. Well, what do you think? That's amazing.
I don't know anymore, and I can't believe it's 60 years later or 40, and oh my God. Okay, let's move on. Let's hope it happens.
We got something really interesting here to let the listeners know. We've all heard about black holes. What are they in space? Something that no light, heat, or energy can escape. But people may not know, back in 1974, the great physicist Stephen Hawking, he said that black holes do not necessarily pull everything in, and that they might also have some release or escape of material. Now, that's very, very controversial, because even the classic scientist, the guy who discovered the concept of black holes, Princeton physicist John Wheeler, he stated a long time ago that black holes have no hair. What does that mean? It sounds really ridiculous, meaning they don't leak. There's nothing coming out of a black hole. But Stephen Hawking said differently, that over the course of time, there's something called Hawking radiation, John. What is that? That black holes theoretically could leak over time and pop in and out of the universe. And that sounds like a Star Trek story, doesn't it? When black holes appear and disappear, something to watch out for if we're going to travel into the deep cosmos.
It is mind-boggling. Like I said, like we always joke around, I watch a lot of Star Trek episodes. I've seen it on Star Trek.
Absolutely. Way ahead of the time of where we are now. And, John, the last one we have always is the big one. What is the big mystery of the week? And the question posed is this. What's the fastest that humans have ever traveled so far? It's interesting. Go back to May 26, 1969, when Apollo 10, the astronauts came back from their orbit around the moon. They attained a speed, John, of 24,816 miles per hour. Now, lucky for them, they came through the atmosphere and slowed down with the heat shield. But guess what? The Artemis 2, when it does launch to the moon, hopefully in April, it could break that record, coming back at over 25,000 miles per hour. They use something called a skipping technique into the atmosphere. But, John, if they skip and bounce off the atmosphere, they have to do this precisely, or else they'll skip out into space. That's amazing, John. Imagine going that fast, the fastest that humans have gone. And maybe in the future we'll find out, like Star Trek, that was just a tiny speed compared to the speed of light.
At what point, which one of our aircraft is going to do that in the future?
We're not sure, but we know from history the big Lockheed Skunk Works project, the SR-71, it was pushing Mach 3, and that's technology of the 60s. But now, allegedly, I can't prove it, we can dig deeper into the story, that we might have something called the Dark Star that goes upwards of Mach 6, a replacement, John, to the SR-71. I kind of think we got it, and I think both you and I believe that maybe we didn't just figure this technology out ourselves. Right, John?
I tell you, it's mind-boggling. But Dr. Sky, Steve, thank you for expanding our minds, and look forward to next week.
Always, John. Good Sunday to you and the listeners, and always remember to keep your eyes to the skies.
Listen to this podcast now
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.